Greetings, Ashen here. Today I'll be reviewing The Mitchells versus the Machines. And I'm going to try and keep it light on spoilers, so I won't be going into too many details, just letting you know right off the bat. So, would I recommend this story? If you want to just cut off right here, yeah, go and watch it if you haven't yet. That's fine with me. But if you want to hear a little bit more about it, once again, not too much more, but a bit more about it, then go ahead and stick around. So, this movie is wonderful in my opinion for many reasons, but one of the biggest selling points for it for me is just how well put together everything is. You have a wonderful cast when it comes to the voice actors. I don't know any of their names, but I've heard all their voices 1,000 times. And that makes the show, the whole movie, have just this delightful feel. Everyone plays off each other well. There's good chemistry. And the animation in this movie is just astounding. It's really good. Right up on level with Enter the Spider-Verse, that Spider-Man movie that happened a little while ago. I believe it's even the same studio that did that. So they carry that sort of frantic, interesting energy right over into this film, but without an established property. And I gotta say, I really do dig it, though. The Mitchells are a family of sort of outcasts, like the father is really into wilderness stuff, and the main character, Katie, she's really into video editing, and she wasn't much for having friends growing up, so she thought as movies were her real friend. And for me, that's kind of how I felt growing up. So I really related to her character on that note. It was very kind of interesting and meaningful for me that they would embody a character like that on the screen. So you have this great cast of people. The mom is this very forgiving, very kind character, maybe a little bit too overly kind. And the son is I guess he has like Asperger's or something. He has sort of tics about him, but it's played in a humorous yet sympathetic way in this film. So you just have this interesting, delightful cast of people who maybe never fit in really in their life too much. And you get to see what they go on, a big adventure. That's what happens. So Katie and her father are kind of at odds. It's just that whole thing where she's becoming a teenager and, oh man, you don't get me and stuff like that. Just different generations sort of clashing, right? And we take that story and the dad's kind of having to come to grips with that. She's about to come to college and, the father gets this idea like, all right, well, what can we do for one last hurrah as a family? People are going to start going their own separate ways, and I just want to have like one last family hurrah. So instead of them going, taking her to the airport so she could fly to college, he decides that they're going to take a car trip and cross different states' lines and do this as a family and bring her to college. And that really plays to their advantage because as they're doing this, the robot apocalypse starts. And it starts in a silly way, kind of poking fun at how corporations maybe dip into our privacy and stuff like that. We all know about it and it's all happening. But they played up for humor here and it really works. Anyway, so we have the iPhone generation sort of leading to the robot apocalypse in this case, where they go around trying to capture all the people. And that's about as far as I'm going to take the story. It is just super fun, and there are so many aspects about this story that begin in the beginning and in the middle and in other places, and they all eventually tie up to other things. It's amazing how the story, it flows very silky smooth because there are just so many elements that you're like, I remember that, and then it'll just come into play later. Even sometimes throwaway gags and things are used to develop the story later on. So it just has this excellent rewatchability about it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. My wife loves the movie. I mean, I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times now. And it's just kind of a really good movie to have on in the background, too, if you're doing other things. So if that sounds good to you, then I would recommend you go and check out this story. There is one thing I want to talk about just to give everyone a bracing for this. Oh my God. Okay, so in this story, the main character, if you don't want to know any spoilers, stop now. Katie, all right, it turns out she's a lesbian. Yeah, okay. Now, what big way did they do this to rub it in your face or something like that? They didn't. It's just part of her character, and it's hinted at throughout the entire story. I remember the first time I watched this film when I sat through it, and at the end, they had this basically a conversation where the mother was just wondering if Katie was dating some other girl, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, well, she's a lesbian, so that's fine." But I didn't know if that was sort of like them throwing that in there to try and just get sort of woke points or whatever. But I rewatched the film, and that's the beautiful thing about this film. It was hinted at the entire time, and it was so unnoticeable that unless you were really going out of your way to look for it, it's not in your face. And I think that's excellent. I think that's exactly how you should do films like this, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with having representation or characters that are lesbian or this or that or the other thing. And in my opinion, this is exactly how movies should handle this subject matter. It's just a matter of fact. It's just who they are, and it's just part of their lives. And after you've watched this whole film, that doesn't change a damn thing about anyone. All right, well, thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a great day. Yes.